You know when you have one of those moments like, I made it, I think I made it, I think that like this thing that I'm doing is actually gonna work out? That's how I feel today. So I got my first paid sponsored YouTube video and I'm really excited about it. You know, I have been really afraid to kind of dive into video as opposed to Instagram. So the brand that reached out is Everlane, and I decided that it'd probably be really cool to show you guys the process of booking a paid social media campaign, setting up for it, shooting it, editing, submitting it, the whole process of what goes into a sponsored YouTube video. I'm very excited about this. They're one of my favorite brands. They are sustainable. They do have some really cute clothes. I actually shop there. I love their values. So it just works out perfectly. Yeah, I'm just gonna take you guys on this journey. Let's do it. So Everlane sent over goodies. I've already opened the box. This is part of what came. So the first thing to do, I guess, would be unbox everything, hang it up, steam it, try it on, just to, you know, figure out what looks I'm actually gonna be wearing, and then we'll go from there. So they reached out to me via my manager, and she's the one who handled the initial negotiations. They did send over a few notes about what they wanted the video to be like or look like. I then got to go on their site and choose the clothes that I wanted, as long as I specifically had to wear 3 new styles of pants that they were promoting. So everything else was kind of up to me, what I wanted to wear, how I wanted to shoot, how many looks I wanted to do. So the idea came to me to do a week in Brooklyn, and I would wear a different outfit each day to a different place or a different neighborhood in the city that I really love, and just kind of show you guys some of my favorite places here. And then I wrote down where exactly I wanted to go in the city. And as I did that, I chose the outfits that I thought would go best with certain locations or activities. And I compiled that in a nice note in my phone just so that I was able to reference it back. During this time, my back was hurting a lot. I was in immense pain. I had to be very strategic about where we shot and when we shot. This needed to be shot in a matter of 3 days, 2 or 3 days. What I decided to do was shoot 3 locations each day, but they had to make sense based on how far away they were from each other, the time of day. Obviously the farmer's market is only on Saturday, so I had to time it around that. But being organized, like keeping the looks, the days, and the activities in a nice, neat note, it makes it easier to reference things back. The next thing that I did was Lou and I sat down and talked. That's my boyfriend who filmed and edited the entire video with me. But it was important for he and I to talk so that he knew what the idea was and how we were going to execute it. I also have a shot list that says, you know, I want to pan up and pan down. I want a wide shot here. I want a close-up shot here. Again, those are things that I relate to him so that, again, we're on the same page. I don't always have to stop and check the footage. We can just kind of keep it going. So shoot day comes around, and now I have to prep the looks. I have to steam everything, make sure everything's lint rolled, make sure that I'm bringing the correct accessories for the correct outfits of that day. I used to be a wardrobe stylist. That was my full-time job for 7.5 years. And so I still operate like that whenever I'm prepping for my own shoot. I still make sure that everything is nice and organized. I just work better that way. Yeah, so then after we're done shooting everything and filming everything, that's when we come home, we upload all the footage. We make sure that we got the correct footage. You know, sometimes memory cards can be compromised. There could be like a fingerprint on the lens. So we have to double check the footage just to make sure that it's straight to use. We did that. Lou spent his sweet time editing the video, and then I had to choose the music. We use Final Cut Pro to edit, and I do a little bit of color correction. We also add some grain to it. Again, I really wanted this to feel like a short film. like, oh, here's this girl changing outfits, going throughout Brooklyn, just living her life. But all the outfits happen to be Everlane. I also really wanted to be intentional about the places and spaces I chose in Brooklyn, so that if you've ever visited here, if you live here, you'll know some of these places. Oh, that's Jin's roti shop. I go there. Yo, she's on Utica. Yo, I go to the farmer's market. Like, those are things, emotions that I wanted to evoke through this sort of storytelling lookbook. So if you have not seen the video yet, it's up here. You can click the little banner above me and go watch it. Go check it out. Leave a comment. Let me know how you liked it. All right, so now that I've kind of walked you guys through my process of shooting a sponsored YouTube video, I did go to Instagram and ask if you guys had any questions at all about creating sponsored posts or content. And so now I'm just gonna answer some of the questions that you guys asked. What was my inspiration for the video? When the brand emailed me, they specifically said, we don't just want her to try on the clothes, you know, against a blank wall or in her room. We want this to be a little bit more kind of like a lookbook. And I thought, well, if I could get 7 outfits out of it, then I could do 7 days in Brooklyn and create kind of like a short film vibe for it. Something that's a little bit more captivating and that actually tells a story versus just simply trying something on. So that was my inspiration. I wanted to do something different, showcase the city that I live in, which is Brooklyn, and find a cool way to kind of incorporate the different looks with the different aspects and neighborhoods of Brooklyn. What tools do you use for video editing? In all honesty, my boyfriend edits all of my YouTube videos. We also edit on Final Cut Pro. How long did it take to edit? I would say between 1 to 2 hours, between, you know, choosing the footage, choosing the music, writing the description. I would say between 1 and 2 hours. How many minutes do you have to have before being monetized? So this question kind of threw me for a loop. I wasn't sure if she was asking me how many minutes does a video need to be or how many minutes does your channel need to be. I think that as long as your channel has the ability to be monetized, like as long as your channel has been approved for monetization, I honestly think that the video can be any length. Now, in order to get your channel approved for monetization, I know you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, and I want to say you need 4,000 minutes of like playtime total, not just one video. It could be like the sum of all your videos, as long as there's 4,000 minutes, I believe. I will write down here if I'm correct, because I'm winging it. How do you get sponsorships? Do you pitch or do they reach out to you? Both. Everlane in particular actually reached out to me, but I honestly do both. Sometimes brands come to me and I align, or they align with, hi, sorry, hi puppy. Brands reach out to me for sponsorships. Other times I'll have an idea and then I'll pitch the idea to them. One way to get sponsorships, because the question literally says, how do you get sponsorships? One is to create captivating content. You know, even if you're a new content creator, you are still up against seasoned content creators, you know, vying for a spot or a seat at this brand's table. So your content needs to be up to par with theirs. Stepping outside of the box, doing something different, being someone or something different, new and exciting ideas. Those are all ways to get sponsorships. Another great way to get sponsorships is to actually use the product, actually wear the clothes. You know, brands take notice. If you want to work with Everlane, for instance, buy their clothes, wear their clothes, post about them, create a YouTube video that isn't sponsored, and then you can email them the content that you've created. Hey, here's some of the work that I've been doing. I just want you guys to check it out. If you are ever doing any gifting or have any opportunities for sponsorships, I would love to be included in that. But the idea is to start this relationship or this conversation with the brand even before they pay you sometimes, just to get on their radar and just to get noticed. What do I say in a pitch and what needs to be included? So if you're blindly reaching out to a brand, I hardly ever like to ask for money up front. That's just how I work and how I've seen things come to fruition. It's kind of like going on a date with someone and you don't know them and boom, they just start asking you for stuff. It's like, yo, I don't know you. We have not established any sort of rapport. Chill. So I like to start my pitches with an introduction. This is who I am. This is what my content is about. This is why I love the brand. And if you guys are doing any gifting, I would love to be included. This way, again, the brand gets familiar with the type of content that you create for them, as well as just how you create or what type of content you create on your own. You want to include a media kit. It's just a one sheet telling and showing the brand who you are, who your audience is, what you're about, who else you've worked with. I typically don't include my rates yet because sometimes the rates fluctuate. You know, that just depends. It depends on a lot. How can I bring out my personality more? Y'all gonna hate me for this answer, but honestly, the answer is just be yourself. And the more that you take pictures, the more that you shoot video, the more comfortable you'll get in front of the camera, so you'll really start to be able to be yourself. Because when you first turn it on, it's awkward. It's like, yo, this is weird as fuck. I don't really know my angles. I don't really know what I sound like on camera. Practice makes perfect. And the more that you practice, the more comfortable you'll get in front of the camera, the more comfortable you'll be with being yourself. But it honestly just starts with being yourself. Just be yourself. Is it typical for companies to charge you to do an ad or affiliate marketing post? No. Y'all, one of my biggest pet peeves is when those companies slide in people's DMs and be like, we want to work with you as an ambassador. Here's a code for 25% off your next purchase. Whoa, that's not an ambassador. A real ambassador, one, you give the items to for free, and two, you pay them. This is just some sort of marketing scheme to get me to feel like I'm an ambassador so that I will spend more money and I will blindly and willingly post your brand and content that I've spent my time and energy creating for free. That's literally all it is. No, if a company approaches you and they want you to pay to be a part of any sort of program they're offering, it's a scam. Get out now. How do you determine your rate? So rate is determined by a number of things. The amount of followers that you have, the engagement that your followers provide based on your content, the usage, you know, how is the brand going to use this content that I've created? Is it just on social media? Are they using it on their website, in paid advertising? And also, how long are they using the content? Is this indefinite? Do they want to use it for a week, a year, 10 years? And then lastly, exclusivity. You know, are they buying this time frame from me? So if it's a skincare company, do they not want me to post about any other skincare in 30 days? I have to factor in how much money I'm losing if I tell them yes to that, and then they have to be able to supplement it. Otherwise, it's a no. That's how I base my rate. I'm not gonna tell y'all my rate because nobody asked that, but if you want to know, drop a question in the comment section and let me know if you want to know my rate, and I'll create a second video kind of going into all of that. That's a lot though. That's like TMI, I feel like. How do you negotiate your price? So again, you start with a rate. The rate should feel good to you. It should feel like, yo, y'all paid me for this. It shouldn't be, damn man, I should have asked for more. Like, you should feel good about the money that you are making, not based on what anyone else is making, just based on you. You should feel good about that price. So let's say a brand comes to you and they're like, hey, all we have is $200, but you've set your rate to $900, okay? That's way below your asking rate. The next thing to do is to counteract. Hey, thank you so much. I would love to work with you guys on this campaign. However, the rate that you mentioned is way below my rate. My typical rate is $900. Are you guys able to meet me there? They may come back and say, oh, sorry, yes. End of negotiation. They may come back and say, oh, no, we don't have that budget. We can do $400. Then you can come back and say, well, if you can do $550, I'll take it. Or, you know, if you don't have over $400, instead of an Instagram post and Instagram stories, I'm just going to do an Instagram post. You have the wiggle room to sort of negotiate how much content you're going to give them, or if you're going to do it at all. Contracts as a content creator and protecting yourself. always read a contract. Always make sure that there is a contract signed and in place before you submit any content whatsoever. You don't want to submit something and then they fall off the face of the earth and then boom, your content is on a billboard somewhere. Before you ever submit content, make sure that there is a contract in place. Make sure that you've read all the clauses, all the dots, the bullet points, everything. You don't want anyone getting over on you. Pay attention to usage. Pay attention to timelines, especially as it pertains to when you're getting your money and how you're getting your money. Some of these projects are net 90. That means you don't get paid until 90 days after you've posted. So you just want to be really mindful of everything that's going on in your contract. Do you plan out your shots? Absolutely. As you guys saw in the video, I am very diligent about planning my shots, my locations, my looks. Yeah, so yes, I do plan my shots out. And the final question is, first of all, the fact you're sitting like this, you're so cute. I love you too. How do you decide on an item's presentation? I already have an idea of the lighting or the vibe that I'd like to go for.